Hello there and welcome to the Meet and Greet Show. My name is Ben Asare and today I have for you an interesting conversation with a multi-talented personality. My guest on the show today is a stage light engineer, he's a minister to the youth, he's also a motivational speaker and an entrepreneur. We find out more and have a chit chat with you when I return. Welcome back, my name is Ben Asare. This is Saxon TV and the Meet and Greet Show. Don't forget we are also on social media. On FB we are Saxon TV, on IG we are Saxon_TV, and on Twitter we are at Saxon T. If you are new to this channel, hit the subscription button. Kindly click on the notification bell to get updates on our upcoming and exciting episodes. My guest today on the show is Mr. Ebenezer Antwi. Mr. Ebenezer Antwi. Sir, welcome.
Thank you.
Give me the elbow. Corona elbow. Corona meet me chow.
Funny sir.
With time.
Alright.
You're born pie. And so you are all the stuff I mentioned. Minister to the youth, stage light engineer, motivational speaker, entrepreneur, and an accountant. Wow. Yeah. How are you able to combine all these?
Okay. How am I able to combine? Actually, I don't combine.
Really? Okay. How are you able to handle all the stress that come along with everything you do?
I think it's a matter of knowing what to do at what time. Okay. Yeah, that is the key. You know, that is the key to be able to handle all different kind of like tedious work. At the same time, you have to be organized.
Okay.
Yeah. So over time, I've trained myself to know what is important. I don't waste time on many things. I just focus on like what is important and what I'm expected and supposed to do at each and every time, and that is able to help me do everything I want to do within its own time.
Okay. So as a businessman and then a motivational speaker, let's say someone calls you for a gig at a certain point in time, and then you also have to show up for a presentation. At a certain point, have you ever thought of dropping one of the things you do?
Okay. You know, I have my own plans. I have my own schedules I follow. So in case something of that sort happens, the best thing to do is just to speak to both ends. I have to do this at this time, and then I have to do that at this time. So I'll check both, and I'm not Superman. I'm not supposed to be at two different places at the same time. And then when it comes to gigs, it doesn't always mean I have to be there. Okay. A true leader is the one who have followers, and then whose followers like understand the vision he or she carries. So if there is a gig somewhere, it's a matter of delegating. Okay. And then showing up at whatever I'm needed. So it's possible. It's always possible.
A sign of a true leader. And so let's start getting to know you. How did it start? Your background, education, family, and this whole thing. How did you get here? Why did you start?
Okay. As you said earlier, I'm Ebenezer Antwi, and then I'm the sixth born. We are 7. I'm the last but one born.
Okay. Almost baby last.
Yeah, almost baby last. And then actually I grew up. I was born in Ghana, but I grew up in Ivory Coast. That is where I grew up.
So you can speak French?
Yeah, a little. I can speak French.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir is bonsoir.
Ça va?
Ça va très bien, merci.
Yes, you are.
So that is it. Basically, I was in Ivory Coast, and then we have to use, a school car to come to the Ghana border to school. So I grew up in Ivory Coast, but I didn't school in Ivory Coast. Yeah, that is what happened. And then I came to Sunyani, to be precise, after JHS. Okay. Yeah, that is where I went to Sunyani Secondary School. Completed somewhere in 2007.
Wow.
And then further to the university, where I focus on business. So I went to Institute of Professional Studies now, the University of Professional Studies, Accra. So that is why I did business administration, faculty of management. So that is why I did all these accountings and the like. So I completed, somewhere 2012. And I'm here now, still moving on.
Wow. So you're still an accountant, and then
yeah.
So how is it being an accountant? You people and numbers, you're always busy.
Okay. It's a profession.
Okay.
Yeah. Always I try to set things straight. You have your profession and then you have your career.
Okay.
So always I try to create these two differences: the profession and then the career. The profession is what I went to school to study.
Okay.
I went to do administration, the accountings and all the like. So by that certificate, I'm qualified to work in any firm. So fortunately, my church administration called me to be the circuit accountant. That is where I do the accounting works. So that is the profession. Yeah. But what I told myself is I'm not going to limit myself to my profession. Okay. Personally, too, I have my own interest. So that is what brought the other things in.
I see. Yeah. Okay, so now we know how the accounting part of you started. Let's continue with the motivation part, the speaking part. How did you become a motivational speaker?
Okay, with the speaking part, I don't know how to put it, whether to say a motivational speaker, an inspirer, it's all began, like it has been part of me. Yeah, it has been part of me. It's not necessarily, booking me for a gig to go and give presentation to motivate people. No, it's in my conversation, with my colleagues, the very basic things, God in his own way let me know. I also try to transfer to others. That is where the whole thing started. And then one thing is I'm not extrovert. Okay. Yeah, I'm not extrovert, but surprisingly the few who get to know me always stay around. So sometimes I ask myself, what is really going on? Little did I know, every little word, every joke and everything we share one way or the other leaves some kind of mark in their lives. So that is what led me to that discovery. Wow. So I don't wait for platforms and the like. In my normal conversations, the very thing which I use to build my own self is what I transfer. Wow. And that has been it.
That is it. So I'm speaking with Mr. Ebenezer Antwi. I told you he's an amazing personality. If there's a meet and greet show on Saxon TV, if you're new here, kindly hit the subscription button, click on the notification bell for updates on our upcoming episodes. And so let's start with business.
Okay.
How long did it take you to arrive at the idea of Caris Creativity?
Okay. Talks of Caris Creativity, Caris Creations,
Is there a difference?
There's no difference. Actually, people know the brand more by Caris Creations
because that's glitz.
Yeah, there is glitz Caris Creativity, and then Caris Creation. But Caris Creation is the brand name, actually. But when you go to my certificate, the registration certificate, that is where you get the glitz Caris Creativity. Oh. But the most important thing is we have the Caris, and then we have the creation or the creativity. Yeah. So that is the whole thing. Okay. I'm talking of Caris Creations. It started, some years back. I was just sitting down. I was like, I will not allow only, I will not base on my profession alone to survive. Okay. I'm not going to rely on my salary. Let me put it that way. I'm not only going to find a job. I have to be the job myself. Yeah. So that is where this whole idea came together. Where do I start from? So I sat down and then I outlined everything. I can start this, I can start that, I can start that. And then before anything came in mind, I first of all studied my own self, realized my interests and the things I'm interested in. Most of the things I do now, at first I used to, do it for fun. Things like video editing, things like some of this light stuff. In school we go for science programs, and then I'm always the one trying to find solution. Where should we get light? Where should we get sound and all that? So I realized, I think I've built some interest here. So why don't I work around that area? So I made a list, and then I checked the list out, and I was like, okay, I think this is lacking. Stage lighting.
Okay.
I did my research, and I realized the old people used to use traditional lights. We call them halogen lights. So with the evolution of LED lights, stage lighting became something altogether. So when I came around Sunyani, I was like, this thing is lacking. Though I saw few around, but I was like, no, this is the spot. I have to start from. You have to seize this opportunity. So I started my own research, started studying, consulting people who are ahead, and then started gathering information, and then I gathered a little cash and started my own.
Wow, that's amazing. So if you want to start anything, just start by knowing yourself, the kind of stuff you are interested in, and then pick up from there. So let me come back to Caris Creation.
Okay.
For the benefit of people watching us who are hearing of Caris Creation for the first time, what do you do?
Okay, Caris Creations, to make it more simple, we are more into events.
Okay.
Yeah, events. Production, advice-wise, lighting, we are just there to sort you out. So people know us more with the lighting.
Okay.
Because that is what I capitalized on.
Okay.
Yeah. But in addition to that, we also provide any advice you need as long as events are concerned. This is basically what we do. So from scratch, production is input, process, and then output. So from beginning, the process, and the end, if you consult Caris, we are there to deliver weddings, parties, stage effect, stage crafts, and the likes. That is what we major in.
That is it. There you have it. So anytime you have an event and you want it to be memorable and amazing, that you sit and be like, you have to call them. The number is below. Get in touch with them. Let's talk about the pandemic and then business.
Okay.
I know definitely business is a bit slower now.
Yeah.
So how are you coping?
Okay. Caris and the pandemic. I think it's a big blue. It's not just to events organizers and then people who are into gigs, but this is a global blue. It has affected everything, from top to down. It affected us, I say, directly because of this social distancing protocols and then the ban on social gatherings and all this. It has affected us, but one way or the other, it has helped us also. Because we realized that the attention shifted onto everything became virtual. Yeah, and then virtual means you have to take the thing online and the like. Trust me, if your lighting is poor, no one is going to watch
definitely
your virtual event. So because we try to be a little versatile, we also find opportunity there, but it's not as compared to the normal days. Yeah, that is it. And one other thing also is that within this short time, it gave us the opportunity to also learn, and study and prepare. At the end of the day, this too shall pass. So we still move on.
That is what he said. It gave them the opportunity to learn and prepare. I'm asking you, during this pandemic season, what have you learned? If you haven't learned anything, definitely you've wasted a lot of time. But it's not too late. It's not that late. So let's come back. Someone said I should ask you this question. The person is interested to know that what gig have you accepted? That is if you can recall, was the highest paid and the lowest paid gig?
Can I recall?
Your
highest paid and lowest paid. Oh, I think it will be difficult because we work with package, so just choose and we come and deliver for you.
Oh, okay.
But one thing we do is that sometimes it's not about the high and then the low. Our concern is, at the end of the day, the gig was successful. That is one trademark which, let people call us more. So our concern, though the money is very important, the cash is good, but we also focus on the fact that this gig should be successful as long as we are handling it. We place that first.
Okay.
So after that, a lot of bonuses come in.
I see.
If it's about the charging, you can get high, but at the end of the day, you don't know the opportunity you could fetch. That is what we call the bonuses. So sometimes stick to the bonuses.
I see. The bonuses are important.
Yeah, cool.
Stick to
and
it.
the recommendations.
I see. So let's say I saw a video of a young man.
Okay.
He was fine. He was making it was funny. Though that the successful people in the country, Charlie, they be almost sorry. Every someone, how did you get to where you are? I say, not me to pure water. Excuse me, but selling pure water. How many years are you going to sell pure water to reach $5,000? You get it. How many years are you going to sell pure water to get 10,000 cedis? So I want to ask, how did you raise your capital to start the business?
I think this is one of the questions most people like to ask, and then it's the question also I always expect. Raising capital to start business. We have a lot of principles, books out there to give you all the practical lessons and the like. But I will tackle from this angle. You don't just raise capital and then start something just like that, because most of the youth, when you ask them, I only need money, I can start something, just give me money, I can start something. I start from know yourself, know your interests, know your passion, and then as you do some of these things, you get to know if this is my passion. And then in this very passion, probably it could be an art, it could be it could be even making this makeup artists, these dresses, and then fashion design. It's a passion. It always starts from somewhere. It could be photography, it could be anything. So you have to develop that passion. You have to study yourself. You have to know yourself. So normally I put it this way: you have to date yourself. You have to date yourself, and that will help you know your passion. And then now, after knowing your passion, it will be easier for you to tell, if I invest in this passion, I can make it. You get it? Yeah. So after knowing this is my area, that is my area. Now the next thing, which is very important, begin to pay yourself. That if you see, we are always ready to put money into the things we value. Yeah. For instance, if we say there is the new iPhone and then it has this value, it has these features, you still get people rushing to buy it because of the value attached to it. Okay. So you as a person, if you attach certain value to your interest and then the things you want to really get into, if you are receiving even 50 cedis a month per the value you place on your own self and your interests, pay yourself. That is what some people will call saving. You are saving, but I will call it you paying yourself. Because anytime you tell people save the little you get, the excuse they begin to give is it's not easy to save and all that, I'm receiving less and the like. But I will tell you, pay yourself. Do you really want to get there? If you are receiving 500 today, pay yourself. Every month, pay yourself. You pay utilities, you pay your tithe, you pay all that. So categorize savings as part of those expenses and pay yourself. So during national service, the least we were receiving, I was still able to save as much as 40%. I was paying myself from then. But today, you rush and go and buy a phone and spend most of the time browsing and all that. So I paid myself for years. So you can check from 2008 to around, that is where I started my national service. saving from then till I was employed. So you just check that for even a period of 3 or 4 years. If I was receiving 200 cedis and I was saving, as much as 800 cedis. If I get a job and I'm paid 1,000 cedis, imagine how much I'll be paying. Multiply that by the number of months and tell me if you can start something.
It looks that easy when you hear it, but then doing it, the discipline. How did you do it?
I have this adage: if you give yourself to a habit, you become an addict to that habit. Wow. If people give themselves to watching telenovelas, when it's time, trust me, whether they are asleep or awake, they will stick glued to the television and watch it. Why? Because they've developed that habit over a time. The same with everything. The same with savings. Yeah, it takes discipline. It takes a lot of discipline. So when it becomes a habit, it's very easy to do it. I can tell you.
Wow.
It's very easy to do.
This is not just an interview this is not just a production we are making, but I'm actually learning. So if you're learning here, I kindly ask you to hit the subscription button if you're new. Follow us on social media, on FB, we are there, IG and Twitter as well. Reuben, let me ask, to get to the level you are, the success you have attained in business, definitely you need some management skills to get there. So let's start with the team.
Okay.
How were you able to find all of them? Because you said a good leader, a sign of a good leader is one whose team or employees go to work even in his absence and do not just go and give at the water fountain. So how were you able to find them, put them together and managing them such that when they go to work, even in your absence, they still do their best?
All right, we're talking about putting together a team.
Yeah.
We have, let me categorize it into. Okay. We have 2 desperate people out there. Okay. We have the one who is who wants to work with you because he knows he'll be paid. So the motivation factor is there is money in this. There's money in this area. Let me get there. Let me get closer to him. He's around. Everybody knows him. When I get there, I know I'll get money. There's that person, and we have that person who is like, I think this skill is good. I have to get closer to learn more. I think I'll be very useful around this person. So when you take these 2 people, if you are to be the employer, who will you employ? You see. So the one driven by money will always
be money conscious.
But the one driven by passion is easy to work with. And it's very easy to train such a person. Okay. So I work on this too. And then people also change over time. Sometimes someone's passion was probably, the cash involved. But at the end of the day, I give people the benefit of the doubt, a second chance. Okay. Come and let's see if, your presence can bring certain kind of influence in the whole thing we are doing. Mm-hmm. So I weigh all those options. Sometimes people change. You can't predict people. Okay. That is what makes leadership a little difficult. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you have to have that heart. As a leader, you have to have that large heart to accommodate everything. And based on that, you don't allow your employee, who your employee is, how their attitude are to influence the whole vision. You have to just stick to the vision. So at the end of the day, if they know my leader is focused, no matter what, no matter how crooked they are, they will still fall in the right way.
Wow, that's very insightful. I'm enjoying the conversation here, and let me ask about money. Mm-hmm. In the past, you've already spoken on how to handle the money, but then when you've started the business and then the money is coming in, some people would say, "Oh, media, the business is mine." Mm-hmm. And for the business for me. So whatever money comes, I don't have to open 2 accounts, a business account and a personal account. Do you have a business account and a personal account?
I think this area is very key. If you really want to progress with your business, you have to learn reinvestment. The same way you're able to pay yourself, like paying your passion to get to where you are, you should keep paying the business.
Wow.
You should keep paying the business. You don't just blow things like that. That is what affects a lot of people. Some people are like, I had 5,000 cedis and I started this business. I think I should be able to get my 5,000 cedis back before I continue. So if you have 5,000 cedis and then, for instance, you started with videography or photography, and then you are expecting to get the 5,000 cedis before you reinvest, probably to take you 3 to 4 years to get the 5,000 cedis as overflow. Profit. I start the same business with you with the same 5,000 cedis, but each gig I try to pay the business and then add more stuff. At the end of the 4 years, you are going to get your 5,000 cedis back, but I'm going to get my business enlarged, giving me more opportunities. At the end of the day, comparatively, I have advantage above you. So it's as simple as that.
Wow.
So you make sure you reinvest, and then you have to be careful with money. Don't mix things just like that. Just get focused. No, this is mine and this is for the business. That is it.
Okay, so let's look at reinvestment with paying yourself. How do you handle both such that you don't go overboard of the other?
Yeah, normally I try to strike percentages. I've done it over the years. So, yeah, some people are not comfortable with that, but it works. It really works.
Wow.
Every amount you receive, count it as 100%. So with a 100%, apportion a percentage to your people. Apportion a percentage to the work itself. Some will call it work insurance, but it goes beyond insurance.
Yeah.
And then apportion the part for you. So at least when you have these 3 areas, you are a little focused.
Okay.
You don't become the one who, this gig was cool, let's go and party, and you just go and blow everything. It doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're watching us, you want to start your own business, this is the best practice you're supposed to be doing. I'm having a conversation with Mr. Ebenezer Antwi. Of course, I could say minister. You minister to the youth. So let's talk about client management. How do you manage your clients such that they don't go and then they won't come back again? How do you keep them coming?
So client management is very important. And then you have to be patient and have that kind of heart to accommodate in good anything.
Wow.
People are influenced by impression, especially when they hear stuff like from Sunyani, not from Accra. There's that kind of stigma. So what we do is that we don't try to push you to let us work for you.
Okay.
But we try to, if it's for the first time, we will tell you this is what we can do. Whether you believe it or don't, but just give us the benefit of the doubt and let's do it. And anyone who gives that a chance never regrets. That is it. So in handling clients, you don't have to be rude to them. Okay. You have to respect them. Some people give priority to the rich, in quote, and then ignore others. After all, my business started from here, I've reached this far. So these are my target, this kind of people. We don't discriminate. We try to come to each one at his or her own level and deliver what we can deliver. So you have to respect everyone. The very person who paid a little for a service to be rendered for him or her could be the same person who will recommend you to a bigger gig. So you don't discriminate. You just have to be fair to all.
Wow. Very insightful. If you happen to be in Sunyani and you're looking for a cozy environment, serene like this, to enjoy a delicious and sumptuous meal and a variety of drinks in a well-furnished, serene environment like this, come to Mama Dean's Garden. They've got you covered on banku and tilapia, food, chikaka, and all of that. Come and have a taste of it. And so let's talk about limitations and challenges and problems. Okay. Since you started your business, had it been a possible or specific problem that actually made you go like, I want to quit?
Yeah, I think this question is interesting. But when I went to school at the Faculty of Management Administration, we had this adage. We call ourselves the proactivists. Okay. So we conscientize ourselves to be proactive. It's like you should always be prepared for challenges. It doesn't mean that when the challenges hit you, you don't feel it, but just that your preparedness can help you overcome it easily. So we do face, sometimes you can get a gig and you're like, nah, I don't think I have enough to handle this kind of gig. But at the end of the day, it's just a matter of being sincere. Sometimes when you fake it, that is where the challenge becomes like a challenge. I'm talking in terms of, serving your clients. And then there is a lot of risks also in what we do with this stage lighting, climbing metals and all that, There are a lot of risks. Sometimes, I think a couple of times we have accidents, while working, There are a couple of them, but at the end of the day, we still don't give up. Like we still don't give up. Still don't give up. Yeah, you always have to push. You always have to push. It doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Yeah, it doesn't mean it's going. Even sometimes, the very moment you face challenges is that very peak which is going to shoot you to a success. So when you give up, the devil sets in. So you don't give up.
That is
you just have to push.
I see. Someone said when I posted on Twitter that I'm coming to interview you, said I should ask you that. Let's say we've all gone for a live musical concert.
Okay.
About 800 people. We all jam to the music and the groove and all of that. And when it's all said and done, everyone leaves the place and you are left with your set down to do. How is it like?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
This sometimes she finds you people to be like lonely if she could come and help you.
I see. Oh, okay. All right. Well, what I'm going to say is that, that is the hard part of the work, But there is something unique which goes on after every set, like after every gig is over. We tell ourselves that the gig is a success when it's ended, and there are no casualties. So that alone is enough to give us joy. Okay. So setting down sometimes become easier because after all, at the end of the day, the gig is over. Everyone is satisfied. So that joy alone is able to, carry us on. But sometimes we come home very weak. But it's part of the job. So.
Okay, that's nice. So, if someone is watching us who wants to start a business he wants to be an accountant, he wants to be multitasked like you are, what would be your word to the person?
To be multitasking, is demanding. But I learned this from Ben Franklin. There is this popular quote which says, "Jack of all trades, master of none." Actually, it's a misquote.
Yes.
Yeah, the main quote is "Jack of all trades, master of one." You see, that is by Ben Franklin. Jack of all trades, master of one. Okay, so a cultured person is someone who knows something about everything and everything about something.
Take that again.
Like a cultured person is someone who knows something about everything
and
everything about something.
Okay.
So Jack of all trades is knowing something about everything. You are just knowing something about everything. Yeah. And then a master of one is knowing everything about that one thing.
Wow.
Okay. So you have to specialize on, I want to know more about this. I think I have key interest here. Yeah. And trust me, in this very generation, anything you learn, there are associate things you just have to enlighten yourself with. So you, the individual, trying to figure out whether to do this or to do that, you can start from somewhere. But at the end of the day, if you believe this is the area, I find joy working, focus on that, and then learn everything about that thing as much as you can. But in other areas, try to know something about it. Don't just be ignorant. Just try to know something about it. So you can know something about music, you can know something about art, you can know, but at the end of the day, you can focus on your lighting craft. That is it.
Amazing. I'm enjoying every bit of this conversation. Once you minister to the youth, let me shift this in. There's been over the week an outrage protest for justice for a lady that was raped, and my concern is, I don't know how you feel about this. People on social media are focusing on the fact that even if the person is naked, you don't have to rape the person. Yes, we understand. But then, if my problem is, if you just look at that and condemn the act without condemning or trying to prevent what contributes to the occurrence of the act, is there not an issue?
Yeah, it's an issue. I think let me draw some lines here. Anytime something happens, we have people who take sides. With this particular incident which happened in Benin City, though I'm not much previewed with what happened, but the little I read, I realized, is something like which is very terrible and which shouldn't happen. I sympathize with the family, because looking at the young lady, her career and where the incident happened, is something else. But let me take that one out. Sometimes people wait for something to happen to capitalize on their voice, what they wish to express in any way. But let me take this lady's incident out, and then now let me address the whole issue on this rape. It's all in human nature. We have human elements, and then we have our emotions. We have anger. Yeah. People think that the strongest emotional force is anger, but the strongest emotional force is sex drive. That is why a man doesn't care whether you are wearing a brick skirt. The man is going to remove them brick by brick. It's something with human beings. And it has to do with you feeding the flesh. As young as you are, don't be surprised an old man raping a kid and all that. It's a human element which has to be dealt with the individual. So you, the man, sometimes some guys too, like some boys too, are also molested. It's not just the ladies. So we just have to advise ourselves. The same way you can prevent yourself from engaging into a fight, you can also control your sex drive. Okay. Not underlying that we should also be careful, especially the ladies. Some dress anyhow and all the like, and it has become a norm. But at the end of the day, if you contribute to that, you also have to blame yourself. We have some people out there who have that mentality of just doing that. Others even for rituals, which is very pathetic. But ladies out there, you just have to be careful and be modest. Every guy who really wants to live his or her life with a lady will not focus on your nakedness. Trust me. Like, no matter how rude or stubborn the guy is, that person still needs someone who is very decent and calm to live his or her life. So if you are the type who want to just expose yourself out there, trust me, you will get the very people who will be attracted to it, but not with that long-term intention. So the ladies out there too have to be very careful to avoid some of these things.
Very, very insightful. Reben, we are leaving, but before we do, I want you to look into your camera and then tell people who are watching us why, if after the pandemic or even in times like this, when they have a gig, why should they call Caris?
All right. Even within this pandemic, we are still working because, in Ghana, the restrictions are a little easy. We will just tell you, just call us. You've heard the recommendations. Probably you've not had experience with us. I'm not going to flatter you with words, but just call us for your productions, your gigs. Even if you don't have any idea of how to put together an event, just call Caris. We got you covered from scratch, and we are just going to deliver the set for you with stagecraft. Just get prepared. More of them. We are prepared, and we are coming out very strong. So just stay put.
Stay put. Call them from head to toe. They've got you covered. My name is Ben Asare. He is Mr. I keep saying minister. Definitely, he's Minister Mr. Ebenezer Antwi, and he's been my guest on the show today. Let me say a special thank you to Kwame Main Event, and of course to T of Studio C.E.O, and they've had us covered on our production here today. We're living, but people said I should ask you. Although me, I feel disappointed. I wasn't invited to the wedding, but they said I should ask you to give her a shout out and mention her name.
All right, I know you are out there. I'm the only person allowed to call you Mami Sewa, and I know you are out there, always motivating me. In everything you see starts with her. Very intelligent and motivating. She's always backing me out there, and I'm telling you, I love you. Keep doing what you are doing, and we know the sky is not even the limit. There's more ahead.
Okay, there's more ahead. This is where we end your show, the meet and greet show it has been. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscription button and follow us on our social media handles, FB, IG, Twitter, and what have you. We are everywhere. Next time, I promise you, it's going to be amazing and exciting on your show.